This is the story of Nora Tideman, who saves the country of Norway from the troll that awakens after being locked up thousands of years. In the opening scene, a family who loves to read fairy tales climbs up Dovre Mountains to view the beauty of the troll peaks. The daughter, named Nora, even though the troll tale was her favorite, still doesn't believe in trolls to this very day. Her father, Tobias, tells her there is some truth to every fairy tale and advises her that she has to believe in something to see it. He lets her try to believe that trolls are real and look at the mountain peaks again. As she does, suddenly the faces of trolls emerge, and she realizes the fairy tale of trolls was real after all. 20 years later, Nora is now a paleontologist, and she is finding fossils on the Atlantic coast with her team. Secord, the leader of the team, informs Nora that the company they work for is complaining about them again, as they have been digging up and down this coast for 6 months and found nothing. He wants her to quit this location, but she says she just needs a little more time and feels she is close. As she continues digging, suddenly she feels she is digging on solid ground and takes a look at it. Surprisingly, it turns out to be a fossil, and they both burst into tears. Cut to Dovre Mountains, where the government now decides to destroy it and build the railway, while some people are dissatisfied with what they are doing and chant, "Let the mountain live." A group of construction workers then goes inside the tunnel and gets ready to work, but immediately a roar and rumbling occur, causing the tunnel to collapse. The officers later receive a message about high seismic activity in Dovre, and they quickly send aircraft to collect information. Seeing what looks like an explosion at the mountain, the general decides to alert the Prime Minister, Moberg, about this. Moberg is then surprised to see the image of the mountain, assuming it could be a meteor crater. There are also imprints nearby the mountain, but they don't know what they are yet. Moberg's advisor, Andreas, says they almost look like footprints. While celebrating their success, Nora is suddenly approached by an army officer who informs her that he is here to escort her to the Armed Forces headquarters. As she arrives, Andreas brings her to the meeting room with others, and each one of them has a different theory of what happened to the imprints nearby the mountain. Nora then interrupts them, saying these are footprints, but they don't really believe it. Suddenly, an officer named Sigrid comes in to inform them that she has hacked a protester who captured footage of the incident with a cell phone camera and plays the video for everyone. After the video ends, Nora asks Sigrid to play the video again at the roaring part, and she assumes it's the sound of an animal. Then, she asks Sigrid to stop at the explosion part and sees something that looks like a giant. In Lesha, an elderly couple who live in harmony suddenly feel a rumbling, and they quickly get into their basement. As the rumbling stops, they get out to see what happened and are shocked to find that 80% of their house is already gone. Back to the government, they can't really assume it is a giant 100%. Their searches haven't found any further evidence, and they also don't have any plans yet. So, Nora decides to put her work on hold for the time being to help them out with the efforts in Dovre. Andreas later informs Nora that Moberg has made her a scientific advisor and tells her they need to go to Lesha immediately as there is an incident. While on their way, Andreas wonders what was the reason that Nora started digging for fossils. She explains that ever since she was little, she had a love for nature, and she was raised on stories and fairy tales. As they arrive, they meet Captain Chris, who informs them about what he knows happened here. Nora then asks the couple for more details of the incident, and the lady tells her there was a howling like a sad melody. She later smells something like hypernature and notes it down right away. She goes to check for biological traces on the footprint that was left behind but finds nothing. Soon, they follow the footprints, and after 2 miles, there are no more tracks. Nora thinks it's impossible, as it's too big to just disappear into thin air, and there is also no place to hide. Nora then goes to seek help from her father since he knows mountains better than anyone and informs him that something has come out from the mountain today. After watching the video and the footprint image, Tobias assumes it is a troll, and he tells them that trolls existed and wandered freely thousands of years ago. However, Nora is mad when her father brings up the troll topic again. She says if trolls lived here, scientists would have already found DNA profiles or troll fossils in sedimentary rock. Tobias then makes his way to the spot that has the last footprint to investigate further and finds that the current topography doesn't match the previous one. Meanwhile, Nora smells hypernature again, and actually, it's the smell of a troll who is lying down nearby them. Seeing the troll awaken, they rush back to the helicopter and quickly get out of there. After receiving this information, Sigrid informs the government about the troll. Nora and Tobias later arrive at the military camp, and she advises her father not to say the word troll. During the interview with the government, Tobias doesn't listen to Nora and tells them that the giant is a troll, to which they think trolls were just fairy tales and don't believe what he says. Nora interferes, saying they don't really know what kind of creature that is yet and asks for more time to research. However, they can't waste any more time, and because they don't take Tobias's words seriously, it leads them to get into an argument. Knowing the risk is too high if she allows Nora more time to do research, Moberg decides decides to implement a military operation. Nora gets mad at her father after he insists on his fairy tale theories, and she is sure that the giant isn't some mythical fantasy creature. She then gives up on this work and arranges to go back to digging fossils. But after Tobias gives her a speech and encourages her, she chooses to continue this adventure with her father. She later goes to convince Chris to allow her and her father to come along as well, saying she will only observe and won't get in their way. Chris has no choice but to let them come with him and asks them to obey his orders. Upon arriving at the spot, Nora and Tobias recall their past adventures when Nora's mother was still alive. Suddenly, they hear a roar from a distance, and the troll then shows himself in the field. Seeing this, the general gives Chris authorization to open fire. Soon, the army engages the troll with missiles, but they do nothing to him, which only pisses him off, and the battle then ensues. Knowing that they can't destroy the troll, Chris orders everyone to fall back. Meanwhile, Tobias approaches the troll and calms him down, and he seems to listen to Tobias, also showing his sad emotion. But unfortunately, an army opens fire behind the troll, causing Tobias to suffer the attack when the troll swings his tail at him. Before running out of breath, Tobias mentions the words palace, king, and home, and advises Nora to believe, as he always told her, and dies right away. Nora later emotionally watches her father's record book and comes across a photo of her with him when she was young. The next day, Chris informs her that they are tracking the troll with a drone, and they are preparing an airstrike. Meanwhile, according to her father's book, she finds that trolls are weak against the sound of the bell. So, she suggests this plan to the government. However, they think this plan is completely insane. But after Chris convinces them that they have to think outside the box since their modern weapons have no effect against the troll, they agree to her plan. While people are having fun at the park, suddenly they feel the ground rumbling, and the troll then shows up, causing people to panic and flee for their lives. Immediately, 4 helicopters appear with the bell, and when the troll hears the sound, it causes him to suffer pain. Angry, the troll destroys 3 helicopters and continues his way to the capital. The news about the troll is then broadcast all over the world, and Nora and Chris are ashamed that their plan has failed. This causes Moberg to decide to terminate Nora from this mission. However, Andreas also quits being the Prime Minister's advisor after she asks him to leave the meeting. He soon catches up to Nora and asks her to come with him. Meanwhile, Moberg broadcasts to inform people about the troll, and everybody begins to evacuate from the capital. While reading the book, Nora comes across the name Sinding that her father has written many times, and Andreas thinks it could be Rickard Sinding, who is the palace Lord Chamberlain. Hearing the word palace, Nora recalls when her father included that as his last word and realizes that the word home that her father also said actually means the royal palace. So, she asks Andreas to turn around and head to meet Sinding. As they arrive at the palace, Sinding has already expected someone to show up, but he is surprised that it is Tobias's daughter instead. He then brings Nora to the hidden cave in the palace and says there was a good time when it was believed to be good luck to build the royal palace on top of another king's home. Surprisingly, it is revealed that this cave was the home of the Troll King. Sinding says that during the Christianization of Norway, Olav the Holy rid the land of anything incompatible with the new faith, and they massacred the Troll King's children to claim the land, but they spared one of the children and used it to lure the Troll King to Davra, deep into the mountain, where they locked him up inside the cavern. Nora realizes her father was right, as the king is making his way back to his castle. When she shines the light on the skeleton, suddenly it burns, and according to the fairy tale, the trolls will die in the light. But Andreas believes this can't be right, as they have seen the troll during the day. Immediately, Nora realizes that they have never seen the troll in direct sunlight and comes up with a plan. She then contacts Chris for his help to prepare the UV lights at the nearby location, and she will lure the troll there. Knowing that nothing could stop the troll, Moberg decides to bomb the city along with the troll. Upon learning this, Sigurd informs Andreas about their plan, and he asks her to hack the system to buy them more time. Nora later places one of the Troll King's children's skulls on the truck, hoping Sigurd can stop the bomb system. As the general orders the pilot to engage, suddenly the system malfunctions, thanks to Sigurd. Soon, the troll shows up, and he immediately becomes enraged after seeing the skull of his children. Meanwhile, Nora contacts Chris for him to hurry, as she will arrive there in 10 minutes. Unfortunately, Nora loses the skull when she speeds, and the troll emotionally picks it up. He then screams in pain after the skull falls and breaks, showing hatred toward Nora. Knowing that the troll is raging, Nora quickly makes her way to Chris as soon as she can. When she arrives at the location, she and Andreas manage to escape from the truck before the troll destroys it. Just as the troll is about to step on Nora, Chris distracts him in time and turns on the UV lights, causing him to suffer burns. Everyone then cheers for this victory, but Nora thinks it is not right because she knows the troll won't survive. So she quickly turns the lights off and yells for the troll to go back to the mountain. Not long after, the sun rises, and and this causes the troll to be burned again until he collapses and dies right away. In the end, Andreas wonders if there are more trolls in a cave deep beneath some mountain.